Okay, I just wanted to do a garden update. Hopefully this video won't be as long as the last one, but it's June 30th today, and I have my very first ripe tomato, which is a Berry's Crazy Cherries on the giant one that's on the patio. Sorry for the sun is blowing it out, but that is looking really great. Another update is some of these tomatoes. This one is the Black Beauty that's in the little bucket with the watering system in the bucket. Like every day I come out here and I am shocked by the number of blooms that are on this plant. There are hundreds of them. I've never grown this type. I don't know anything about it. I guess I didn't expect this, but I'm really excited to see what comes of it. The other ones in the buckets over here are doing really well. Not that well. This one is the Mortgage Lifter. Compared to the other, it's a really healthy plant. Compared to the others, it's puny, but it is starting to set fruit. So I do think, like, look at the size of this blossom, this little fruit that's forming. So same with the this other one is a Dr. Witchy's, and like I had to move it because it took over the entire walkway over here. It got so big, so it had to get pushed back a little bit, but they're doing so well, and it's so crazy how whether they're in the ground or in the buckets, how they do so much better, honestly, in containers, which I don't know, it's weird. Over here there's the banana peppers, and there's just a ton of them. There's, you know, a handful. I've picked a few of them. I think I'm going to pickle them this year and see how we like that. I just watered, so everything looks kind of... A lot of the lilies that are starting to bloom. This one just opened this morning. Again, it's like Christmas because I just don't remember what I have over here, so when they bloom, then I'm surprised, which I don't know what that says, but here's a beautiful yellow one, and then these are my favorite lilies, and again, I don't know what they are. I didn't grow them, I didn't buy them. I think that they're like a hybrid between some of the lilies that grow around here, and these ones have just cropped up. They're here, and there's some over by my other pink lilies. So yeah, I don't know if they're a mix between a tiger lily and that pink lily or exactly what they are, but I love them. And there's the little miniature lilies that we purchased when we redid the perennial garden over here that are blooming and just beautiful flowers. You know, we can take a quick look at the veggie garden and the crazy giantness of the castor beans. I was concerned when I planted them in here that they weren't going to, you know, do their thing, but no concern there. They are enormous. I'll just put my hand like next to that just for reference. That leaf is giant. So they are two different kinds. This one's like a green, and that one's got a little bit more red to it. I don't remember. That one's like Zanzibar or something. And anyways, these are the other miniature lilies. Again, that sun is really harsh, but the other miniature lilies that we bought that are blooming. I like the yellow ones better. These ones are pretty, but the yellow ones are better. So I like the multicolors, I think, in them. I think in all my lilies, I enjoy that. This is another really exciting thing that I found out here this morning. You can see, again, I have just milkweeds growing all over in the garden, and I spotted this guy, and that is really early for me to have monarchs in the garden. So I'm hoping that that means that it's going to be a good monarch year. I do see some other little caterpillars in here. So it's time to get the butterfly house going. And also, of course, we have to highlight the garden friend, because Tank came out to help do a garden tour. I think that the trumpet vine is blooming now. I don't think it was in the last garden tour, so it is looking stunning. It's right outside my work window, and so I see the hummingbirds out here all the time. in the trumpet vine. Yeah, it's huge. It's never been this big, and hopefully next year we can maybe prune it back a little bit and keep it under control, but it's gorgeous. The other thing that is blooming over here and really attracting a ton of pollinators is the borage. It usually kind of dies back by the really hot part of summer, so you know, this is kind of its glory, that it'll bloom with the bumblebees and then die back. Another really beautiful flower pot over here. The nasturtiums in the pot over there are starting to take off. I've got this vine that I'm hoping is going to start climbing the ugly stool to try and make it a little bit more pretty over there, but it's taking. Another fun thing to kind of document is over here is the scarlet runner beans, and they are really starting to bloom, and just, they're so beautiful. They're such pretty blooms, so it's really great to see. Hopefully the neighbors will stop having to look at a blank trellis up over the fence. They're starting to finally go up to the top. Again, this is another plant that the hummingbirds love as summer goes on. It looks to me like there are some of the sunset ones here too, that those will be like baby pink rather than the bright red. So just a different kind of a runner bean. These kohlrabis are ready to pick. I'm probably gonna have kohlrabi for lunch today. That thing is the size of a baseball. Same with that one. So I think they're almost too big, but you can see the rabbit has been in here, but at least they're continuing to grow. One thing that I did do wrong this year is with the pak choi. I didn't get it picked before it bolted, so I think it just got too hot for it and it bolted before I got it picked. And so I'm sure it's bitter, and but I'm just leaving it here for the pollinators because I'm sure that they love it. And the giant milkweed over here is starting to bloom. I think that their flowers smell like candy necklaces, so I love the smell of them. I'll just do like a walk along to kind of show all of the fruit set on the tomatoes. That's the Berkeley tie-dye, the Boss Bumblebee, the Mortgage Lifter has some big fruits on it. The Blush is still kind of behind, but at least it's got some flowers. The Paul Robeson has a bunch of fruit down there. Barry's Crazy Cherries, this one is really far behind the one on the patio, but is starting to set fruit and, you know, really catch up. The Blue Beauty has some fruits on it. Very interesting to see how much lighter the dark coloration is on that one than the Black Beauty coming up. This is the Dr. Witchy's in the in-ground garden. There's a couple of big fruits on there, nothing like it is in the pot over there that's doing really well. Same with the Brad's Atomic Grape. We have a bunch of fruit on that, and then you can see the Black Beauty over here is just got stunningly beautiful fruit set on it. And then the large barred boar has quite a few that are starting in over there. Over here is the dwarf Walter's Fancy with the beautiful variegation, and we do have one tomato down there. And over here, the dwarf Metallica one. This one is a little behind. I'm not really sure why, but it is starting to flower, so it's starting to get there. Like all the peppers are really starting to flower and set some really small fruits, so that's really great to see. You can see this one is starting to flower. This is another one of the ahi dulce. It loves being in this pot, like both the basil and the ahi dulce. I'm gonna have to trim back this basil soon, probably today. I'll cut some of that off, and I'm gonna try to freeze dry a bunch of basil, so I'll have some freeze dried basil. Over here we'll just kind of do the same and run through all of the flowers and you know, small fruit. And there's even some bigger fruits on those jalapenos back there. Same throughout all of this, that these are all just getting really thick. These are all the orange spice, lemon spice, and pumpkin spice. And then the Tam jalapeno has quite a few on there. Back behind here you can see the zucchini has exploded in the last 2 weeks, and there are a couple of zucchinis that are growing down there, so if they got pollinated, which I hand pollinated one of them, We should have zucchini in the next couple of days. The rutabagas are looking beautiful. Possibly need to pick one of them in there, but I think I need to let it get a little bigger. These are the ají dulce ones over here. And we do have a couple of kind of big peppers on there and a lot of flowers on these plants. They're not, the plants aren't as big as the ones in the pots, but that's okay. That's totally fine. These are the lipstick peppers. Just a ton of peppers on there. I've never had that much success with them. Look at that. There's going to be like 4 or 5 right there. So great pepper year it looks like. Just back here, there's very few updates, but the cannas, these ones I bought at Costco this year, and they're a variegated one. I think they have a yellow flower, so it's really great to see that those are finally coming up. And then over here is this is still not working out, but this is going to be supposed to be the blue wheat, and it is like the ones that I started early are starting to grow their wheat pods. So again, I don't expect that they're actually going to turn blue. They need perfect conditions for that, but it's still fun to grow. We have an answer for what the mystery pepper is. The mystery pepper looks to be a banana pepper. So I have one more banana pepper plant back here. It's just great to grow them out. Like every year I mess up and get at least one plant that the marker got moved, or this one actually came up in a pot that I wasn't growing peppers, so I must have dropped the seed in there when I was planting the others. And yeah, just had a surprise pepper plant. Back here, we can just stay here. These are the contender green beans. They're really starting to grow in really nice, and they should be flowering any day now. And then back here, climbing the trellis and really starting to fill in, are the Armenian white cucumbers. So again, that's my first year growing them, so it'll be interesting to see what comes out of them. I believe that they're actually considered a melon. I don't know. It'll be fun to eat them. And then just, we're going to ignore the pile of sticks. We had a windstorm and a lot of sticks fell. This is the other Dwarf Metallica and Dwarf Walter's Fancy. This one got knocked over in the storm that knocked the branches down. But you can just see the beautiful variegation in this plant. I mean, that leaf is so cool. And this is just, these just don't get as much sun back here. You know, I might need to stop growing vegetables back here because I'm not sure it gets enough light. This garden makes me big sigh. I just can't keep the critters out of it. It's like they think it's a smorgasbord back here. They won't eat the mint or anything. The herbs seem to be fine, but they just, anything in them that I try to plant in the middle of this garden, they go after. So we even put up we have this little temporary fence for when we travel with Tank, and I don't know. It's not keeping the squirrel out, obviously. But here's the cucumbers they're really starting to fill in and kind of come up the trellis. I've never gotten this trellis to get full, and I really, really I really hope this year is my year that I can get this trellis nice and full of healthy plants. Knock on wood. I don't want to say it too loud, but the plants along the perimeter seem to be doing okay. The elephant ears, so they are finally up. You can see them here, and there's some coming up over here. Although I do feel like I would have planted more in the back here, and there's nothing coming up back there. So, but the squirrels really got into these this year, just constantly digging into it. And so I don't know. We'll see. The hydrangea is blooming, and Bill and I were commenting about this the other day, that it's much smaller than it normally is, and I'm sure that's the lack of water that's just made it not get as tall this year. But it is starting to flower and look really, really beautiful. So these are, again, I don't know what they are. They'll turn green eventually, like they turn bright white and then they turn green. The cucamelons are doing amazing, and I am really excited for this. Again, I'm gonna pickle some cucamelons this summer, so have refrigerator cucamelons. But there's the beautiful plants that are starting to grow up. I did purchase some at the nursery, and so the ones that are really far ahead are the ones that were purchased at the nursery, and they're down here, they're the ones on the left. But then these on the right are ones that I started myself. So you can see from the base of these that they're going to grow up and explode. But look at, I bet like these are ready to pick. This will be my first cucamelons of the year to eat. So they go really fast. When they get this big, this will certainly be ready to pick tomorrow. But here's a baby cucamelon. All the babies. Some of these miniature ones that are on the patio are doing really well. Some aren't, some are. I think that the one over in this little pot is not getting enough sunlight because the giant tomato next to it is shading it. So that's fine, but I just wanted to kind of highlight this and how beautiful this is. This is the Wild Boar Farms Golden Hour tomato. So it's just a little miniature plant that is growing a ton of tomatoes. I didn't expect them to be this big or this beautiful. I guess honestly I didn't know what they were. I just was excited when I saw that they were micro plants, and so growing them. And then down here is the other ones that I'm growing from the Brad Gates micro plants, and this one is the mini San Marzano. And so you can see on these ones, I probably should support them better. They are flopping over because they're either flopping over because they're so heavy with fruit set or because the squirrel's a jerk. One of the two. It's hard to say at this point. And then right next door here, this is my silly project that's actually kind of working out now. This was the variegated maple tree that grew in my flower pot last year. So I transferred it into just a nursery pot, and you can see that I wasn't sure why it wasn't getting the variegation on it, so I moved it over here in the sun a little bit more, and the leaves are starting to get variegated again. I had it kind of in a shady spot, so I don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Like, what am I gonna do with a full-grown maple tree? Do I need to learn to bonsai? It's very exciting. I guess the last things that I'll talk about are the things that are up on this patio that are happening and doing really well. We've got this is the other side of the hops, right? And it is doing really great. You can even see that it's starting to grow some little hop flowers on it. You can see the little flowers there. So that's really great to see how healthy that's still doing. And then over here we have the Mandevilla, which it does seem to be happier in its new home. Hopefully the tomato isn't going to shade it too much, but I think it was getting too much shade from the hops, so moving it away from it a little bit seems to have helped. It's July 1st and it's already made it to the top of the trellis. Like, there's one tendril that's made it to the top of the trellis. I'm not sure it ever made it to the top of the trellis last year. So like, this is always one of the fun plants that we grow, that we really enjoy growing, and so it's great to see that we've figured out where it wants to be. This is just another view of the Bear's Crazy Cherries that's on the patio with the first ripe fruit. This one wins this year. It's over my head. I'm 5 feet tall, and it's got to be 6 feet tall already, so we're gonna have to extend its support system. I did want to show these. I wasn't that big of a fan of them when they first came up because they were just kind of like weird, but now that they have like grown into the white with the pink at the top, I am just loving them. They're the pink flamingo celosia, and yeah, this is a winner. I will be growing this every year I can get my hands on it. And the last one that I'll just talk about here for this garden update is the Dr. Witchy's that's on my patio, or next to my patio. This is also about 6 feet tall, and you can see it's got many fruits on it. There's a whole bunch over here too. There's little clusters all over on this plant, so I think that one is gonna do really well this year. And I look forward to kind of documenting how many tomatoes I get off of it, the weight of the tomatoes that I get off of this one. And then I think for the Berries Crazy Cherries, I'm not going to weigh cherry tomatoes, but I will keep count of how many we pick off of there. I mean, again, you can see from the flowers, there will be hundreds of them. So, anyways, I fibbed. One last lily. Look at how beautiful that is. I don't even know if the camera does it justice. It's like a mauve with a peach center. It is so beautiful. So, so pretty. So, that's the end of the garden update for today. I'll do another one in a couple of weeks as really cool things happen. I'll try to get little clips of those. So, happy gardening. Enjoy your July.